Straight on to some business news now on the programme. And investors will be taking, a keen interest in the meeting in Washington later. This is between the US president and congressional leaders over the country's debt limit. Officially, though, it is not a negotiation, is it? Charles Pellegrin's going to tell us more. Our business.
That's right, Stuart. The White House has been at pains to explain that the president is not going to negotiate on raising the debt ceiling and that it should be raised almost as a matter of standard procedure. The talks will be taking place in the Oval Office around 4 p.m. Washington time, and they'll bring together 5 people. The president, the leader of the Democratic majority, Chuck Schumer, in the Senate, his counterpart as well in the Senate for the Republican minority, Mitch McConnell. But more importantly, this is a key person, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, who heads the Republican majority in the House of Representatives that has voted a bill to raise the debt ceiling, but with conditions that include spending cuts and policy changes that the Democrats don't agree to. There's also going to be Hakeem Jeffries, the House minority leader on the Democratic side. Now, the White House says the country's debt limit was raised 3 times under President Trump without an issue, and that should be the case once again. The consequences could be disastrous for the U.S. economy. A 3-month default could lead to a GDP contraction of 6.1% and 8 million jobs lost. And even a short-term default could lead to a 0.5% drop in economic activity and job losses of 500,000. In a subtle shift in position, though, Democrats have offered to discuss government spending with the Republicans, but only after the debt ceiling's been raised. On Monday, White House spokesperson Karine Jean-Pierre stressed how important this was.
There shouldn't be negotiations on the debt limit. This is something that they should get to regular order and get to work on. We should not have House Republicans manufacturing a crisis on something that has been done 78 times since 1960. This is their constitutional duty. Congress must act. That's what the president's going to make very clear with the leaders tomorrow.
Concerns over a possible debt default as soon as June 1st are rising, and so are concerns of a credit crunch in the country's banking sector. The U.S. Federal Reserve is warning that the recent troubles in its financial industry could slow the economy down by limiting the amount of credit available. Lenders surveyed by the central bank have said they are looking to tighten credit conditions in order to shore up their liquidity and avoid deposit outflows. In China, meanwhile, yet another U.S. consulting firm has become the target of a police raid and investigation. Capvision, their website here, state media, with a primetime report showing police's coordinated campaign against the consultancy's offices in 4 different cities in the country. The group is accused of transmitting sensitive information abroad. This comes after similar raids against 2 other U.S. firms in the past month. While the work of these groups is essential for international investors wary of due diligence, the Chinese government increasingly sees it through a national security lens. And staying in China, where the country's trade data for April is showing a mixed picture of the country's economic recovery after lifting COVID restrictions, its imports contracted 7.9% year-on-year, far below expectations, while exports grew 8.5%. However, the country is running a trade surplus of $90 billion, higher than expectations. Let's see if that's had any impact on the stock markets. The Shanghai Composite trading slightly higher this hour, up just over 0.1%. The Nikkei in Tokyo buoyed by energy stocks and basic materials, up over 1%. The Hang Seng in Hong Kong and the Kospi sold down, trading in negative territory, though. Here in France, annual inflation has pushed into annual food inflation has pushed into the double digits, but a wide array of locally grown fruit and vegetables have stayed at similar prices thanks to good weather conditions this year. Good news for consumers, not so good news for producers. Leo McGuinn has this.
On the market stalls in this French town, customers pile their baskets high with seasonal fruit and veg. Most are delighted to find that tomatoes, cucumbers and strawberries are all at similar prices to last year.
Cucumbers aren't that expensive. Last year, fruit was much more expensive. The prices are reasonable enough. It means we can treat ourselves.
In 1 year, the price of certain fruit and vegetables has decreased, A kilo of courgettes is 47 cents cheaper than 2022, while a kilo of tomatoes cost 27 cents less. The consistent prices are in part thanks to some favourable weather, which has come as a relief to this farmer.
There was no frost, so we could grow much more fruit in our region compared to previous years. We had 2 consecutive years of frost.
While the prices remain stable, producers are feeling the effects of inflation. These farmers have seen their costs jump in recent months, but they refuse to up their prices.
We have to stick with the prices that we know people are willing to pay. Otherwise, we might as well call it a day.
French farmers like these want to prioritise keeping customers amid domestic and international competition, sacrificing their profit margin instead.
It's more reason to eat more fruit and veg.
Exactly. It looked very tasty, actually. Very, very nice. Thank you very much, Charles Pellegrin, with the business news here on France 24, making us nice and healthy. Now, one of the largest